You know what? Oh. What on earth are you doing wandering around with that? That's Body's gun, isn't it?
Yes, I took it from the study.
Oh, well, guns don't solve problems, believe me, I should know.
I was desperate. I had to do something. If Uncle Body had released some of my trust money, we wouldn't be in all this trouble now.
You and Mr. Green?
Jonathan said he could go to jail if Uncle Body went ahead with marketing his rubies. And Professor Plum kicked up a row with the police. He couldn't survive in jail, Colonel. I just know he couldn't.
No. You may be right, my dear, but this is no way to do things. Body is a very dangerous man. Now.
No!
Remember what I said, Green? I just want to make sure that Mrs. Peacock comes out of this in one piece.
If she goes broke because of something Body does, I'm sorry, I can't help.
On the contrary, my dear chap. I believe that you can help. Didn't you help Mr. Body find Reynolds, his solicitor? And I know that Reynolds is a crook.
What's that got to do with me?
I'll tell you exactly what it's got to do with you. You are mixed up with Body in this patent business, aren't you?
Are you threatening me, Colonel?
No, my dear chap. I just wanted to make absolutely certain that we understood each other. It's rather complex, isn't it?
You simply don't understand, my dear.
Oh, yes, I do. I see you all moping around, wrapped up in your own problems. And not one single one of you ever thinks what's going to happen to me. Well, I helped Professor Plum with the formula, and he said that he would buy me a cottage so that I could get away from Mr. Body. I have always hated that man. And now it looks as though I'm going to be with him for good. Unless I can prove that Professor Plum invented the formula for the rubies, which I can. Because I know where Mr. Body put the rubies when Professor Plum gave them to him. He used to call them his prototypes. Come on, Professor. It's no use standing there feeling sorry for yourself.
I can't believe he trampled all over me like that.
Well, what are you going to do about it?
But you know, that man still had the letter with the details of my formula. He had the nerve to wave it in front of my face.
Well, why don't you get it back? That way you could prove that the formula was yours.
He's got it locked away in the study.
Oh, come on, Professor. What are you, a man or a mouse?
Well, what am I going to do?
I don't care what you do. Brain him if he won't listen. And if you don't, I probably will.
Well, what have we here? The old Chateau Lafitte.
You ever tried this one, Green?
Look, Body, you promised me 10% of the sales of those rubies. You can't back out of it now.
10%? I don't recall any 10%.
Don't treat me like one of your yokels, Body. Without me, you never would have patented that formula. And who found a solicitor that was even more crooked than the patent? If it hadn't been for me, even Plum would have seen what was going on, and he'd own the patent now, not you. So, don't get too clever with me, eh?
And what would you do if I did get clever, eh, Mr. Green? Go to the police, who would surely lock you up, or go to Plum, who would then call the police. Or perhaps you might consider a more extreme solution.
You won't double-cross me, Body. You wait and see. I don't suppose old Plum would have ever gone ahead with this ruby business if he'd known the trouble it was going to cause.
Well, don't start blaming him for what Mr. Body's done. Nobody forced Mr. Body to steal his idea, did they? Now, why don't you stop worrying about whose invention it was and do something useful? You can get me some string from that cupboard.
Hardly affects you, does it?
Doesn't affect me. Well, you people never did look beyond the end of your noses, did you? I know more than you think about the professor's invention.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
You see, I helped the professor write that letter to Mr. Body. I typed it for him. The letter with the formula in it. I kept a carbon copy of that letter.
Where is it? Can I see it?
No, you may not see it. But it's safe. I shall choose the time when it's right to use it.
If you intend to go ahead with this, you will destroy my family's jewelry business. As a gentleman, you owe it to me.
Oh, don't beg. It doesn't suit you. Ah, I knew I had Plum's rubies somewhere. Rather good, aren't they?
You rat, Body. You told me the professor's formula was worthless, and all the time you've been working on it for yourself. If you don't give me these 2 weeks, you'll destroy us. And I'm not about to let that happen, I can assure you.
Bravely said. That's the spirit I like to hear.
Will you hold back?
No.
If I were a man, I would kill you now.
I don't want you involved in this thing, that's all.
What, Uncle Body using the professor's formula, whatever it is? Are you involved with Body?
Yes. And it's all going wrong. That's why I don't want you involved.
But I am involved. I don't care what you've done.
All I can tell you is that if Body double crosses me, we're going to lose the money we need to get married. If I'm still here to get married. I've got to find out whether Plum kept any records of his formula or of the first rubies he made. I can't trust Body if anything goes wrong and Plum gets the police involved.
Just tell me what to do. Nobody is going to harm you.
If Plum gets to those rubies first, then there's only one way left to stop Body from taking me down with him.
You know these rubies are identical to the ones I sent you with the formula. How could you say they aren't? They're exactly the same.
Really, Plum, you are slow on the uptake. Your ideas didn't work in production. Your rubies were a fluke, a one-off. I had to chuck out most of what you did.
I gave you my formula in trust, Buddy. You said you'd get one of your people to look it over and see if it was viable. And now you've patented it as your own idea.
You sent me an idea for making synthetic rubies. A marvelous idea. But it didn't work. I developed a formula that did, and that formula is now my patent. It has nothing to do with you, Plum. Now get out before I throw you out.
That's right, Buddy. First steal my ideas, and then threaten me. That's about your level, isn't it, eh? Hey? I'll show you what I think of your patent.
It is said that certain precious stones are lucky, but Mr. Body was not superstitious. Rubies were precious because they were valuable. That was all. There was a fortune to be made by anyone who invented a way of manufacturing artificial rubies. And when one of the guests found such a way, then surely it must lead to wealth and happiness. Good friends would share in the fortune, and neighbors rejoice in the success of their friends. Maybe. But maybe rubies are not so lucky, because good luck seemed to desert Arlington Hall just as surely as it deserted poor Mr. Body himself.